Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about one Thomas Paul Osborne, a January 6th defendant who represents to the court that his lawyer has been in contact with a high official in the Trump administration and a pardon for him is almost certain. Now he does this in order to try to get his trial pushed back. That we're seeing as a recurrent maneuver by January 6 defendants. Two judges actually have allowed it. One judge, without any written order, said, well, we don't want to waste resources, okay. And then another judge, a Trump judge, actually aggressively questioned the prosecutor. How do you know there won't be a pardon? And put that person's trial off to April. Here, two other judges, and I just want to say well-respected judges, already declined those kinds of requests. Judge Friedman, Senior Judge Friedman, and Judge Cooper. And now Judge Mehta, Amit Mehta of the D.C. District Court, has turned down Thomas Paul Osborne's request. So they are doing what you would think would be the standard response to judges of this kind of basic representation. You know, even if it's true, my job is to just have this case move forward. If somebody like the President of the United States is going to come in and preempt it or throw a thunderbolt, so that happens. I can't take account of that. But the real reason I wanted to tell you about Thomas Paul Osborne is, let's say it's true that he's been told it's nearly certain that he will get a pardon. Now, we've talked about this before. Trump said in his campaign he's going to pardon the January 6th defendants. We treated to, well, there'll be a case-by-case review. Marjorie Taylor Greene recently has made a big thing about all of them should be pardoned. Okay, so let's say Thomas Paul Osborne is somebody, a qualitative judgment has been made to pardon him. Now, maybe it's total BS and posturing, and, you know, that tells you part of, you know, this whole kind of underbelly of nearly 1,000 defendants who participated in an attempt to prevent the peaceful transfer of power, ransacking the Capitol, you know, how we're even considering special dispensation for them in the first place. But what about, so who was Thomas Paul Osborne, who, by the way, is awaiting trial and was trying to get it delayed? He's a guy who's charged with 4 felonies. But he's certainly not of a low level just along for the ride. He's grabs an officer's baton during the melee, so he actually physically interferes with the law enforcement. Worse, I'd say much worse, he apparently harbored another January 6th defendant who disappeared last year after he was convicted of assaulting police with pepper spray during the Capitol riot. They think that while he was on the lam, this other guy, Osborne, put him up for 6 weeks. He's got ties to a family of other fugitives who were charged with Capitol-related crimes. So this guy is no sort of innocent bystander or just along for the ride. He is, you know, from the person who wanders in up to Stuart Rhodes, the head of the Proud Boys. You know, he's got to be sort of in here. So that if it's true that this is an example of someone they've already decided to pardon, then it drives home what a huge transgression of justice this is in the wiping out of some really serious offenders who were instrumental in a total constitutional crisis and an attempt to use violence to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. So that's who we're talking about. The judge doesn't go for the argument about taking account of it at all. So that's a report in this ongoing kind of series of arguments by different January 6th defendants. On the other hand, if this guy's pardon is almost certain, then we're talking about a lot of ugly stuff ahead. And of course, if he's pardoned and people under him aren't in culpability or not, you're going to have all kinds of, screaming protests by all the other folks. Why that person and not me? Do they go even higher up to Rhodes? The prospect of pardoning these folks, as I've said before, is just a total swamp of a legal and political problem. Trump has called the January 6th rioters patriots, and that it was a day of love, and that seems like, well, the Mr. Love himself, Stewart Rhodes, and everybody underneath, it's just one lovin'. Let's just pardon them all. Why not? Can't do that. And how are you going to make these distinctions? And if this is an indication, if Osborne is someone who makes the cut, man, oh man, what a real sort of insult to American democracy we're going to have to absorb ahead as Trump gives free passes to people who did really heinous acts that threatened the whole constitutional scheme. So the pardon parade is going to be something to watch, and I fear it's going to be a parade of horribles. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.